Hello everyone, and welcome to Wednesday on the Hook part 4 of the Christmas pillow. I am so excited that today we will complete our pillow, and as you just saw, the items you will need are a pair of scissors, a yarn needle, some safety pins, and some white yarn for sewing your ribbon down or whatever color you made your ribbon and bow in. So if you are ready, we're going to go ahead and get started. But before we do, let's take a look at our ribbon. You can place your ribbon on your pillow in any position that you want. And let me show you what I mean. You can put it where the bow will actually go in the middle, or you can actually put it where the bow can go up here. So it's however you want your Christmas pillow to look. For this tutorial, we're going to join both of our ribbons in the center. Now, as you are sewing your ribbon on, it has a tendency to move on the pillow. So we don't want that to happen. You want it to stay centered and you want it to stay right where you have it. So in order to make it easier, and I am just going to tuck that tail. I forgot to sew it in, weave it in, but I'll just tuck it in behind there. It will not be seen. And I'm going to start by safety pinning our two ends together so they stay nice and straight for me. All right. Let me actually grab some of the pillow in with this so it'll help to hold it in place. There we go. There we go. All right, so make sure, and see it's not actually where I want it. I want to make sure that it is in the center of the pillow, and it may take a few minutes to get that exactly where you want it. And that is where I do want mine. So I am going to go ahead and secure these two pieces in with the safety pin so I know they're nice and snug on there. And then grab some other safety pins, and just to help keep it from moving, so kind of like as a guide, just secure them down all the way around so that your ribbon is going to stay exactly where you want it to be. Because if you don't, it is going to move on you, and then you're going to get done and your ribbon is not going to be sitting on your pillow as you want it. And I know you don't want to have to frog it. So I'm going to come and secure it on this side right here. And once you start getting one of your sides down, really, it will start to stay in place better. But I would rather be safe, knowing that I have it completely sitting exactly where I want it all the way around. And it doesn't take but just a few minutes to secure it in place. And now I'm going to do the same thing to this side that I did to the front side. Just making sure that my ribbon stays on the pillow right where I want it. And just kind of alternating on each side of the ribbon with a safety pin, just securing it to the pillow. And we'll just secure this side right here, and then I should be good. All right. So now I have my ribbon pinned down. And as you start sewing, you can, move your safety pins around to the other side of the pillow to help secure it down even more if that makes you feel comfortable. But once you have your ribbon secured and centered as where you want it, then we're going to go ahead and start sewing it on. Now I have a long piece of string or yarn, to sew with. If you left yours attached as a tail from the last tutorial, then you should be ready to go. If you did not, I ended up measuring a piece 5 times the length of my entire length of my ribbon. Probably way more than what I'm going to need, but I would rather be in excess than not enough, so that I don't have to have different strands of yarn securing my ribbon down. I have it in one full long piece. All right, and to get started, and again I'm going to cheat and tuck that little tail that I did not weave in underneath there, and I'll secure it down better when I get around to that side of the pillow. You do want to make sure that your yarn is on the underneath side, so mine is not. So I'm going to kind of tuck this in underneath this ribbon, just like this, not securing it down to anything, just pulling it through to the back so that it is actually starting on the back side of that ribbon, like that. Okay. So I am going to come up underneath the ribbon here and grab a small little section of the pillow like that. And I am going to pull my yarn through and thus starting to secure it to the pillow. Then I'm going to come into the next stitch, and I'm going under both of the strands on the end there, and I'm going to come up underneath the pillow, or the ribbon, and grab a little bit of the pillow like that, and then I'm just going to pull my yarn through and start securing it to the pillow. Now the reason we're going right underneath the edge is so that we have a clean sew and our stitches are not being seen. So I'm going to come right into the next one and just kind of fill, and if you have to, you can kind of peel it back. You just want to get the stitches that are right directly underneath, because if you come too far out when you grab the pillow, your stitches will be seen, and you want to keep them invisible. And having a long tail, you have to be careful because it does want to sometimes twist on you and knot up. So just do it gently, take your time. And I'm going to come to the next stitch and grab a little bit of that pillow right underneath and just continue to pull it through. long tail, so just take your time pulling it through. And then we're going to come grab the next stitch and grab a little bit of that pillow and pull it through. And that's what we're going to do, just to continue going around sewing our ribbon down. And I'll show you after we do a couple more stitches how nice and neat that is, and you can't even tell that you have a seam there. So going right into the next one. And I'm just kind of feeling for that pillow. But again, if you can't see it, then after you insert your hook, your needle, just lift it up a little bit and look for that piece. There we go. Again, you want to keep where you grab the pillow directly under the edge of the ribbon, so it's not too far out that your seam is seen, but you don't want it too far in that it pulls on the pillow and distorts the pillow. And I have found that when I do it sideways like I'm doing it, that I can kind of maneuver the needle through the ribbon and through the pillow at the same time. And just kind of feel for the stitch. And if you can't feel the stitch, then just lift that ribbon up and look for it. And this is what happens with the ribbon being long. So you just kind of need to take your time. So it doesn't knot up. All right. And go on to the next stitch. And on to the next stitch. All right, so let's stop and take a minute there. So see how nice that stitching is, oops, see how nice that stitching is going? So you cannot even tell where you have sewn it onto the pillow. It's just a very nice clean edge. And we'll fix this where our pieces join when we get back around, okay? Because we'll come all the way around this side, and then we're going to sew across here, and then either direction you want to go, you'll end up back to this center to secure it off. All right, so let's work a couple more stitches together. I'm about to come up on my first safety pin, but I'm just going to leave it there until I get closer. All right, so let's just lift this up and find that. There we go. That's what we're looking for. And just working it through the stitches, just sewing it on. And after we do this one, we'll go ahead and adjust our safety pin since we've come up to it. All right, so we've reached our first safety pin, and we can go ahead and pull it out. And you can repin it anywhere, and I'm just going to take it and move it down closer to the edge here, just so I still have it holding firm. And that's what it's looking like. That's on there nice and centered. You can see how well it's securing down. So go ahead and continue sewing your edges around. As you come around the edge of the pillow, you're going to do the same thing you have been. Just continue grabbing your stitches right up underneath. The edge of the pillow, the curve of the pillow is no different than the flat part of the pillow. So just keep on working all the way around, and I will meet back up with you when you get back to the beginning here. All right, so we've come back around to the beginning here. So we have one last stitch here that we need to stitch down. So we're just going to do it like we have everything else and grab a little piece of the pillow and pull that through. And we have now completely sewn down, and I'm grabbing this because the way it is pulling, it had created a little bit of a gap. So there we go. That closes that up. All right, so let's just take a look at our pillow real quick. And you can see that it is clearly sewn down on this side, and we'll flip it over. And we are completely sewn down on that outer side there. So let's flip back. So now we're going to go ahead and work across our little strip here. So let's go ahead and remove this safety pin that we had holding that down. And we're going to actually attach our two ends together. So now we're going to go up under this stitch. You want to grab some of the pillow like that, and then you're going to come up through the stitch on the other side and just pull your yarn through, and that's attaching your pieces together like that. Now we don't want our stitches seen, so we're going to come to the stitch right beside where we came out, grab a little bit of the pillow and join it in the same stitch across, and just pull our yarn through and go to the stitch right beside the one where we came out and grab a little bit of our pillow and go up through the stitch directly across. And this is not only securing our ribbon down to the pillow, but it's also joining them together. And as you can see, it is not even leaving a seam. All right, let's go to the stitch right directly beside the one where we came out, grab a piece of pillow, and go into the stitch directly across. And pull our yarn through. And we're going to just keep on doing that until we go all the way across. It should only take a couple more stitches to do that. And it looks like we're down to our very last stitch here, right in the corner. And so now we have completely sewn across where the two pieces joined. So now we need to sew down this side just like we did the other side. And again, I want to start where my piece is on the back side. So I'm just going to pull that through the corner here. So that is secured down. And now you can go in either direction that you feel comfortable with. So I'm going to come through my stitch right here and grab a piece of the pillow, and I'm just going to start securing it down just like I did the other side. And as you can see, we're doing just like we did on the other side. So go ahead and work all the way around, securing this side down just like you did on the other side. And I will meet back up with you when we get to the very end here. So I've come back around to the very beginning here. So I am going to just scoop up a little bit of the pillow here and go in this very tip corner and completely attach those. And we are finished. Our piece is completely sewn on and attached. So now all we need to do is weave in this end. And so I'm just going to come right up underneath some of these pieces right here and just pull it through. And I'm going to go right back up underneath them. And I'm just going to do that a couple times. And then I'm just going to cut off my excess. And I'm going to go back through one final time. And we have finished securing our first ribbon on. So now we're going to do the same thing with the other ribbon that we did with this first one. And I am going to join these two pieces on the same side of the pillow that I joined this piece, meaning like joining here, the open ends. So even though you can see the seam, but if you're not looking for it, you're not really going to notice it. I'm going to put the seams on the same side so that when I actually put my bow on top, those seams will not be seen at all. And so you'll have just the perfect flow of your ribbons on the back side. And of course this portion will be sewed down to the actual ribbon here. Okay? And we'll do it the same way that we did this. It's just instead of grabbing the pillow, you'll grab parts of this ribbon to go across. So the first thing we need to do is we need to secure our piece in place. So again, it doesn't move and walk on us. So just take a few minutes and secure your safety pins on so you can hold it in place. And I am going to stick one right here in the center because I definitely want to make sure that that is not moving. All right. So we have our second ribbon secured down. And that looks good. And I already have my yarn threaded on my needle. So I am going to slip this through the corner here because I always like to start with that yarn on the underneath side. And I'm going to go up through the corner of this one because I want to go ahead and kind of attach these pieces. And again, remember when you're dealing with the long yarn strand, just be gentle pulling it through. All right. Sorry for that little technical difficulty. Mine was caught on my tripod, actually. All right. And then I'm going to come right back through the very tip of this. So again, it is on the underneath side. That makes it a little bit more invisible, I think. All right. So now let's see. I'm going to come back through. Here. And now, so I can come back through this corner and grab a little bit of the pillow and pull it through. I feel like my yarn is longer on this one. Let me see if I can. There. All right. I think we're all situated now. All right. And then I'm going to come right through that tip corner there and grab a little bit and secure it down. All right. Now we're going to come and do that same thing to this corner here and secure it down. And again, just take your time pulling that yarn through. And then we're just going to do with it just like we did with the other ribbon. Just grab parts of the pillow, and right now we're working through the ribbon. It's now part of the pillow to secure this other ribbon on. And now we're at a part where we're actually going back to grabbing parts of the actual pillow and not the ribbon to start securing this ribbon on. And I hope you're having a fun time seeing your Christmas pillow come together. I hope you have a special someone in mind to share it with, even if that special someone is you and you want to decorate your couch or a chair with this pillow this holiday. It is so fun to make this pillow in different colors and with stripes. I've even done some where I've accented a button in the center of the bow, giving it even more of a unique look. There's all kinds of things you can do. You can even create this pillow and create appliques and put appliques on it instead of a ribbon and bow. The creativity is endless. All right, so I am going to leave you to it and just continue adding this ribbon all the way around the pillow as you did the other one. And when you are finished, we'll come back and work on the bow and assembling it. And so you're just going to continue working this side all the way around. And when you come back, up to here, you are going to secure your ribbon down just like you did on the pillow, except instead of putting it directly on the pillow, you're now over the first ribbon that we put on, so you will secure it on top of that ribbon, and then pick a side and go either way and work your way all the way around, and then fasten off when you get back to the beginning here. And then at that time we will come and get our bow ready to put on. So happy crocheting, and I will see you after you finish sewing on your ribbon. So here we go. Our pillow is complete. Our ribbon is completely on it. And turn it over. So now we are ready to put on our bow. So we're going to push our pillow to the side and grab our bow. Let me bring this in a little bit here so we can focus a little bit more. All right. And then you just need to cut a piece of yarn about so big. And if I had to guess, this is probably about maybe 25 inches. And get it on our little hook here. And if you remember the little piece that we made, originally when I made this, I simply just wrapped this piece around the bow like that when I originally made this pillow. But this time I thought of something new, and I really like this idea. So we're going to take our yarn needle, and you need to find the approximate middle of your bow. And when you have that middle, we're going to take our yarn and we're just going to weave it in and out through every stitch going across the width of the bow, the shorter width of the bow. So that we're actually dividing the bow in half. And literally just weaving this yarn in every stitch across. All right, and when you have done that, take the yarn off the needle and then pull the yarn so that both ends are even. And then if I pull on it, it's not going to do anything. But watch as I walk the bow together and just kind of squish it on that piece of yarn. And then I'm going to take it and wrap the yarn around it to the back. And then I'm going to go ahead and knot it off. And then I'm going to walk it one more time around to the other side. And I'm going to knot it again. And then a second time. And the thing I like about this idea to it is you can make your bow dimensional. So see how it helps that bow to poof out? And now you can sew your bow on just like this, and leave it just like that. You can put a button in it to accent it, and you've got a nice dimensional bow, 3D kind of effect. But you can still take your centerpiece if you want and stretch it around and sew it on and create this look for your bow. So it is entirely up to you how you want your bow to look. Now, these two yarn strands from where I just knotted the bow in the center, I'm just going to kind of let those go to the side for a minute. Since I had you make this little bow strip, we're going to go ahead and attach it to our bow. So I'm going to grab that end yarn that was a tail to that little centerpiece that we did. And I'm just going to secure this yarn onto that piece. And then I am going to just sew these two pieces together with a quick little whip stitch. And we've just about finished it. All right, so we have that nice little centerpiece there. And now, before we take the needle off of this piece of yarn, let's just kind of weave it in a little bit, and just remember back here is not going to be seen. So just do it a couple times to secure it on there. And then for this piece, we can go ahead and trim off the rest. And now for this piece right here, and I didn't get mine exactly even. Just gonna make them even. I'm gonna put these on my needle. Hope this needle hole is big enough to take 2 strands. And I think it's going to be fine. There we go. So I'm just going to take this and work it up kind of through the middle. So I'm pulling those pieces of yarn right up in the middle there. All right. And then I'm going to grab my pillow, and I'm going to find the section where I want that bow to sit. And this was the front side where I joined the pieces. So I'm going to take my yarn and I'm going to place it. Well, first I have to determine how I want my bow. Do I want it like this? I think I want mine kind of at a diagonal. So I'm going to take it and just run it through a little bit of the pillow here, and then I'm going to run it back through the middle. I didn't mean for that to come off the needle. I've only got one on there. So let me try and get both strands back on the needle. And there we go. All right. And I'm going to take it and go back down through it here. And pull it through the back. So you can't even tell that it's been through the front there. And then I'm going to take it and run it through a portion over here as well. And you can do that as many times as you want to secure it down. I don't know if you can see it. Let me try and stand it up. That is so cute. So I'm going to take it and run it through a portion here. So I'm pulling it extra tight down. And then I'm going to take my needle off, and I am just going to do a couple knots here to secure it. So it's on there nice. Fluff my bow up. Oh, that's so cute. All right. And then it might be easier to do it one at a time. But you can then just take this and weave it in a couple strands on the ribbon there. And come back through. And then sometimes, and this is what I'm going to do, instead of cutting it, I'm going to take that needle straight down through the pillow and push, 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 push till I can grab the needle on the other side. And I'm just going to pull the needle out so that yarn is on the inside of the pillow. So I didn't even cut it. And now I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And again, you can run the needle up through the middle of the bow and back down as many times as you want. My yarn piece was a little short, so I only did it a couple times, but it's meant to be a decorative pillow, so it's not like I had to do a lot of securing. And then I'm just going to come back through there so it's secured in. And I'm going to do the same thing. Push that needle all the way through. Oh, there it is. And then just pull it through so that excess yarn is left in the center of the pillow. And there is my cute little Christmas present pillow. Well, here is our completed Christmas pillow. I hope you have enjoyed making yours and have someone very special in mind this Christmas holiday to give yours to. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure and give it a thumbs up. And if you have not done so already, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any future notifications. This does complete part 4 of the Christmas pillow. Next week, we will start a new project. I hope you'll come back and join us. And until then, be joyful, stay crafty in your own way, and make your own joyful creations.